Many questions surround Big Bang Theory. What happened before the universe's expansion? Will it happen again? The Big Bang was the beginning of the universe as we know it, most scientists say. But was it the first beginning, and will it be the last? A popular picture of the early universe imagines a single Big Bang, after which space blew up quickly like a giant bubble, supposedly. But another theory says that we live in a universe of 11 dimensions, where all particles are actually made of tiny vibrating strings. This could create a universe stuck in a cycle of big bangs and big crunches, due to repeat on loop. Which scenario is closer to the truth remains to be seen. But scientists say new experiments underway could provide more answers soon. According to Big Bang Theory, the universe began extremely hot and extremely dense. Around 14 billion years ago, space itself expanded and cooled down, eventually allowing atoms to form and clump together to build the stars and galaxies we see today. On this, most scientists are agreed. I would say that there is 100% consensus. Really, a University of Pennsylvania particle physicist said of Big Bang Theory. There is overwhelming evidence. All of the predictions are true. For example, this theory predicted that the universe today would be filled with pervasive light left over from the Big Bang. This glow, called the cosmic microwave background radiation, was discovered in 1964, almost 20 years after it was forecast. However, what caused the Big Bang? What happened at that exact moment? And what came immediately after it are much more open to debate. A giant bubble? A dominant idea that connects the dots between the Big Bang and the universe we find today is called inflation. This is the notion that during the first roughly 10 to 34 seconds, the universe underwent exponential expansion, doubling in size at least 90 times. During this early stage, matter was in a much different state than it is now. This theory could explain some of the main conundrums posed by the Big Bang. Why does the universe appear mostly flat, with roughly the same amount of stuff spread smoothly throughout it in all directions? If you can imagine the matter was in that different state in the early universe, the whole story changes, said a theoretical physicist at the University of California at Davis, and one of the pioneers of inflation theory. The physics can create the smoothness for you. Inflation also makes it flat, and all fits beautifully into this story told by inflation. But the scientists and others admit the theory doesn't yet explain the whole picture. Inflation is easily the most popular theory in cosmology, said another theoretical physicist, director of the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics in Ontario, Canada. It's a good theory, but it has some weak points. It can't describe the moment of the Big Bang. Big Bang Theory envisions the universe beginning from a singularity, a mathematical concept of infinite temperature and infinite density packed into a single point of space. But scientists don't think this is what actually happened. It wouldn't really be infinite, explained the physicist, director of the Princeton Center for Theoretical Science at Princeton University in Princeton, New Jersey, and another architect of inflation theory. Infinity just means a mathematical breakdown. It's a statement that you shouldn't have extrapolated your equations back that far because they just blew up in your face. Neither BigBang-Theory nor inflationary theory can describe what happened at that moment. And inflation has other problems in some people's view. Because of quantum fluctuations, different parts of the universe could inflate at different rates, creating bubble universes that are much larger than other regions. Our universe may be just one in a multiverse where different scales and physical laws reign. It means everything and anything that can happen will. So basically, everything could be a prediction of inflation. Others say that while inflation may not be complete yet, it's still the most useful thing we've got to describe the origin of the universe. Even if all things are possible, it could turn out that some things are much more possible than others, and you can still have a prediction. The real excitement is that there's so much data supporting inflation that it really makes it seem worth thinking about these questions. Others have proposed an idea called the Cyclic model based on an earlier concept. In this scenario, the universe undergoes an endless sequence of bangs and crunches, that is, periods of expansion followed by periods of contraction. At each transition, the universe would have some finite temperature and density rather than the infinity of the singularity, and the expansion and contraction would be relatively slow, as opposed to the exponentially quick expansion proposed by inflation. The idea is based on M-theory, a version of string theory, which suggests that every particle is in fact a tiny loop of string whose vibration pattern determines what type of particle it will be. However, M-theory requires the universe to have 11 dimensions. But so far, we can only detect 4 dimensions, 3 of space and 1 of time. But maybe the other 7 are hidden, proponents say. Scientists call the 4-dimensional part of the universe we can see a brain, and suggest that other 4-dimensional brains may also exist inside this 11-dimensional space. If you have another brain living in higher dimensions, it's extremely likely to move and slam into our own brain. But other researchers say the cyclic model just hasn't come far enough to offer a real alternative to inflation. Inflation runs into trouble when you try to make the big picture work. Testing the models. And Genesis, chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. 2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. 3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. 4. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. 5. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. 6. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." 7. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. 8. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. 9. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. 10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. These are more signs of the end times, transition days. There is a real transition going on, happening daily, all around the world.